Hey guys, welcome to a very special Guitario Live event / lesson. If you don't know who this person is beside me, sorry, just had a little technical difficulty there. This is Ayla. She's a fantastic guitar player who I recently found out lives in Vancouver.
This is true.
Just outside of Vancouver. So I was like, you have to come out.
Yeah.
And so I hit her up on Instagram, and she was more than happy to. So I'm excited to have her today. Now, I want you to tell people all about like the main projects you have going on right now.
Yeah, well, Calpurnia, that's the rock band. It's three of my best friends, and we have a great time together. And we've been writing music and performing all over at some awesome venues. We released our first EP a few months ago, which is super exciting, and we're still continuing to write and perform, and it's been so fun.
And I also watched at least 3 of your videos from your other band, the Jazz Fusion.
Yeah.
That's more up my alley. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's like soul and funk and jazz and all that fun stuff.
And you sing in that one too, right?
Yeah, I do. And also the other guy, the bass player Max, he sings as well.
Yeah, I saw him in one of the videos too. He's a good singer.
Yeah, he's awesome. And then Rhett, the drummer, he's also awesome. They're just so talented.
What's probably the best way to keep up with you is probably Instagram?
Yeah, I think so.
And what's the @
It's just my name, Ayla Tesler-Mabe.
Okay.
AYLATESLERMABE. That's
Cool.
just the handle. And yeah, I feel bad for the people on other platforms who are sometimes like, oh, it seems like you've disappeared for a while. It's just that I haven't been updating
I've just been
as
putting
much.
all my effort
Yeah.
into this one, right? I
Yeah.
feel the same way. Like I'm behind the game on Instagram and still doing more of the Facebook stuff. So
Yeah.
today, I wanted to get you out here and talk about like your philosophy on vibrato, because you do a lot of cover tunes.
Yeah.
And when you do a lot of cover tunes on YouTube, you should go check them out, by the way. You have to you don't have to, but when you can fit the style of somebody, it really helps make the thing more convincing,
Definitely.
the cover you're doing. And to do that, you have to be really versatile at that. So I wanted to come get like your basic take on vibrato, philosophy on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them my two cents too, and I have a person that's really affected my vibrato a lot in the past few months, actually. And I know that you've done a couple covers of this person too, and I wanted to get your take on his vibrato as well.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think to me it's probably one of the most important and expressive techniques that you can use on the guitar, and it's so personal, and like it's such a personal touch that every person has a different vibrato, and definitely at least when it comes to cover songs, if you're able to sort of emulate their vibrato in some way, I think that takes you another step closer to sounding the way they did, though obviously, again, because it's such a personal thing, I think spending time to develop your own vibrato is such a key element of finding your own style and just expressing yourself. And I think sometimes I have this exercise I do where I play with the least amount of expression as possible, and like the dynamics are all just stagnant.
Just like
and
dry computer?
Yeah,
Okay.
and like no vibrato, anything like that. And then the second you start adding things like dynamics and especially vibrato, suddenly you are saying so much more, I think, on the instrument, because there's so much expressive potential on the guitar that sadly some people maybe don't think about as much, but once you start really thinking about that, I think it can just open all these doors up in your playing, and it's definitely something I try to focus on a lot, and it's important to me.
Well, could you just walk us through, like, I know you've got probably a lot of tricks in your bag as far as vibrato goes, just some of your main techniques that you use.
Yeah, well, for me, it's mostly just been a matter of feeling it out and whether or not it sounds good, and I'm not necessarily thinking about the technique, but I don't know, it's like if you have a note, great, but I think using at least 2 fingers, sometimes 3.
Okay.
Just like as long as it fits the music, and there's so many things that go into what kind of vibrato you use, and it can be like the width of the note or the attack or like how wide the vibrato is, like versus. And it really depends, and like if you apply it to a bent note, I think it adds a lot to it. And you can also think about like holding it and then applying a vibrato, or applying vibrato right away, like versus.
I learned, like, when I started really thinking about vibrato, I was watching the classic Eric Johnson instructional video. And and he got his like technique from Clapton.
Right.
And this is a good thing and a bad thing, because it got me stuck in it for a very long time, but it also kind of added this to my bag of tricks. So it'd be something like this.
Oh, right,
That's
really,
a lot of delay. That's a really wide.
It's a very 80s hair metal kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like that, right? My thumb's not attached to the back of the guitar. It's
Right.
very loose.
Yeah.
But it's very, I don't know, I want to say obnoxious, but it's really prominent as far like do that same thing, just bend. So and now,
Yeah.
completely different techniques,
Yeah.
different sounds too.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's so
you're
interesting.
pulling down, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And
so, like I would have never done
Yeah.
that. Like I don't know, 7 years ago.
Right.
I would always push up on any string, but
Yeah.
like the little E and A strings.
Right. Yeah.
So that's like my basic school that I came from when I was learning vibrato. And it wasn't until, and I told her I'm going to set her up with this because I know she's done covers. I know I've done Jimi Hendrix covers.
Yes.
He changed the way I think about a vibrato quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because in order to sound like him, I had to change the way I played vibrato. Otherwise,
Right.
it just was not working.
Right.
And I want to see how you do this because this is the only way I could get this vibrato to sound like Jimi Hendrix. And what's the lick?
Oh, like Hey Joe.
Yeah, that vibrato on that last note there. I had to
Right.
pull down.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
could not get it right unless I pulled down. Now, it may be different for you, but
Yeah.
it just sounded so, like you said, kind of 80s hair metal when I was
Right.
pushing up, and it just did not work.
Yeah, it was interesting. I've seen videos of people teaching vibrato, for instance, saying things like, you know, it's a technique you want to use if you really want to just make your note stand out, and like it's never subtle. And you know, and,
Yeah.
like I think it can be subtle too, and you know, which is
And that's something I
yeah.
can stand to work on because, like, she was just playing the solo to Pink Floyd's "Brick in the Wall,"
Part
and, Part two, and there was a lot of really nice vibrato in there, and some of it was subtle, some of it wasn't so subtle.
right.
But it's something
Yeah.
that, like, unless you really have been conscious of vibrato and you're playing, then you might not notice. You might be like, "Oh, that's nice," but
Why is it nice?
Once you look into it and start digging deeper, you're gonna be like, "Oh, she spent some time on that, right?"
Yeah,
so-
it's definitely something I've spent time on.
Can you play that lick, that Jimmy lick?
The Jimmy lick. Let me see.
So you pull
Right.
down too,
Right. Yeah. Well, I was just sort of mimicking what you're doing, but I think
Oh, okay.
when I've played it in the past, I think I've done it like that.
That's the only way, because
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
did that until I learned that.
I've never been conscious of the
Yeah.
fact that I was pulling down. But
Yeah,
no,
that's the only way I
no.
can get it to sound right. It just doesn't sound
Yeah.
as meaty.
It's fiery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One more time, if people want to follow you, where can they do it? Instagram, Facebook, specifically?
Instagram, Facebook. If you just look up my name, you'll find it all there. That's so beautiful. The internet, everything's there.
Cool. I would highly recommend following this young lady. She's a really good player, and you can learn a lot just from watching the cover videos they do, I think, because she puts a lot of soul into it. We're talking about how it's kind of hard to put soul into things when you're just in front of a camera, but she does a good job of it.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. Anything else you want to say?
Thank you for tuning in, guys. I really appreciate it. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so it's very new to me, but thank you for being there.
Well, I think you did a great job. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you very much for having me.
See you there, guys.